Hello my lovely souls, welcome back to my channel. I am here with a major forecast, a reading that you can refer to for the next 3 years. You can come back and check it out because it is a big event. It is a big ingression, transition, and movement. Saturn is finally leaving the hell out of Pisces and it's going to Aries. Now, if you're new to this channel, you might not know, but if you've been here, thank you for being. The past 3 years, when Saturn was in Pisces, were the worst periods or years of my whole entire life. And I was going through Saturn return, that's why. So I was talking about this literally today with my sister that literally on 13th or 14th, depending on your time zone, when Saturn moved to Aries, I want to set fireworks. I want to set some, I don't know, I want to do something grandiose, something loud. I want a cake. I want bouquet. I want to do something. I want to celebrate because I made it. I made it. It was freaking hard. It was horrible. You can check the Saturn in Pisces video. I have been receiving for years, like since 2023, I think. Since I uploaded that video, I've been receiving these like past 3 years a lot of comments about how it was resonating. So I hope this one resonates as well. So just like the previous time, I'm gonna separate the video in the way that I'm gonna go global first because it's very important. Then we're gonna dive into each specific sign. So if you're not interested in general, what is Saturn, what is Aries, obviously you can skip to your own sign. That's what I would also do if I was not into astrology. But for others of you who are staying here, I'm glad you are here because we have a lot of things to talk about. And this Saturn in Aries is something that we won't forget. Because apart from that, Neptune has just entered Aries as well. So together, the Aries energy is very strong out there. So let's go. First of all, we're going to understand what is Aries. Okay, so this is what I teach in my Astro Academy. I will talk about my Astro Academy a little bit later. But Aries is the first sign of the zodiac wheel. It's literally the first, and it's also referred to baby energy. So we have kids energy, then we have like baby energy. So Aries is about initiations. It's a fast energy. There are many keywords for Aries, one of them being war, another of them being like fast. I also say it like fast with words, like the truth is coming out super fast. And with what has been going on in a past week or weeks, you have already noticed the vibes of Aries because Neptune was there. So when we have this energy, which is fiery energy, which is super fast, which is initiating, which doesn't wait, we bring in the planet that is all about being cautious, that is all about calculating everything, that is all about making sure that everything is in order, that nothing is missing out. The planet of discipline and responsibilities into the sign that is like literally has no responsibilities. It's a baby. Babies don't have responsibilities. So imagine, okay? What's gonna happen? Many things. But I can give you some astrology terms here. Saturn doesn't do well in Aries, but I'll tell you better. Saturn doesn't do well in Pisces either, okay? I think Saturn does way better, just from personal experience, not the theory, it's just my experience. Saturn does better in Aries than in Pisces. But astrological term is that Saturn is in fall in Aries. And there is very simple explanation to it that I already brought. So Aries is fast. It wants to do things like immediately right now, like without thinking. And Saturn is like, ooh, we have to take things slow, because not just because we're lazy. It wants to take things slow because it wants to make sure that everything is in order. Not perfect. It doesn't really care about perfection. It cares about things being right, things not missing out. So that's why Saturn doesn't do well in Aries, and Aries doesn't do well with Saturn. So, many people will go through their Saturn return during this next 3 years. So Saturn will enter Aries on 13th or 14th of February. So very interesting, Valentine's Day, and it's going to be there until 13th or 14th of April of 2028. Another number that I'm going to give you here is going to be 14 degrees. So in 2026, this year, Saturn is going to be in Aries from 0 degrees until 14. So when you open your charts, you need to check if you have planets from 0 to 14 degrees, you're going to personally feel the influence of this Saturn. If you don't, you're not going to feel it as much. It's just like, the background noise. It's going to be there, but you're not going to feel it. However, exception. People who are going through their Saturn return, I'm telling you, you're going to start feeling it the second it enters Aries, which is on Valentine's Day. So the second Saturn enters Aries, and until the last day Saturn is in Aries, you're gonna feel it. So it's only for people who are going through their Saturn return. Now, who else is going to definitely feel this Saturn in Aries? Going to be other cardinal signs. So Aries is a cardinal sign. Opposite to Aries, we have Libra. So Libras are personally going to feel the influence of this Saturn. Then we have Capricorns and Cancers. So these 4 signs are for sure going to feel the influence of the Saturn in these next 3 years. And again, with social planets or with like trans-Uranian planets, the thing is, the events happen throughout this whole period, like background events, but personal things happen like around the degree that this Saturn is aspecting whatever planet it's going to connect with. This is what I teach in my Astro Academy, that unless you don't have a degree in a specific point or in a specific planet, you won't feel this transit. That's why some people say like, oh, when Saturn was going through this, I didn't feel it as much while I was dying here. Because so there's a lot of interaction here. The cool thing about this Saturn in Aries, I'm so jealous, because when Saturn was in Pisces, it was just squaring with Jupiter the whole time. Just square. So people who are born from 6th of April 96 until 28th of February 99, these people are so much lucky when it comes to their Saturn return compared to us. Yeah, because there's not going to be Saturn square with a Jupiter, which literally ruined me because I'm ruled both by Jupiter and Saturn. So lucky you, because since Saturn is in fire sign and every other planet from 2026, okay, not specifically in February, but from summer, officially all the planets are going to be in fire and air signs, Pluto is already in Aquarius. Uranus is going to enter Gemini. And then Jupiter is going to enter Leo. So all of these planets that are like global are going to have very nice interaction with each other. Okay. And yeah, Neptune is already in Aries. So we can dive deeper into like the events of Saturn in Aries and some of other planets together. I just wrote down some things so that I don't forget, because once I start talking, I'm just like away. But first things first, numbers, right? Saturn enters Aries. I told you when, but last time Saturn was in Aries was from 6th of April of 96 until 28th of February 99. And then, yeah, so throughout this whole period, it was in Aries, and one time it went to Taurus and then came back. The thing is, sometimes you can hear me and other astrologers say, like, look back at 30 years ago, what happened? It's something similar. Here it's a little bit different, because the moment Saturn enters Aries, it's like joining forces with Neptune. So it's completely different. This is something that hasn't happened in this century. So you cannot refer back to 30 years and compare things. So I call it like a new beginning, complete new energy, something completely different that you have never ever experienced, okay? The only thing you can use the days that I just provided is to know if you're going through your Saturn return or not. I'm not sure why I did it. Focus. Okay, now Saturn is, keywords for Saturn are responsibility, discipline, challenges, limitations. I also call it the inner teacher, the inner elder within us. So it tells a lot. It's like more internal, this urge or responsibility that you feel towards other things out of your life. And Aries keyword, we're gonna give it fast, active, and the big one is war. I have made a video about e-files, if you know who I'm talking about, but this is perfect example. So Saturn was in Pisces, and it was with Neptune there together. So there was a lot of discussion and negotiation about some hidden, highly secretive, hidden things. And the second Neptune entered Aries, we received 3 million files. Okay. One person, so some kind of Aries energy person, like just a leader or someone, or leaders. Also, Aries, another key word we can use is leader. So, exposure. But the keywords in astrology sometimes work literally. Like, as I said, Aries is kid, a baby. And we know what they were doing with babies. Yeah. Okay. Now, I have a separate video on that. You can check it out. But anyways, that was just a glimpse, by the way. What's going to happen is that the second Saturn enters Aries, more of the leaders are going to be exposed. More of the things that were like behind the scenes that we had no clue about are going to come out, especially around 20th, because that's when they're going to join together. The planet of lies coming with a planet of like justice. I don't think I'm even prepared or even can imagine what other things can come out, the truth. But yeah, war discussions can be there. I'm gonna go one by one from the things that I wrote, because there are so many things I can get lost here. So many things. Now, one thing I also want you to look at is 25th of May of 2025, so basically last year until September, Saturn was in Aries, okay? So if you go back and see what happened for you in last year, that period was a demo, like a trailer of what's about to happen. Because Saturn entered Aries for a while and then went back to Pisces and then continued ruining us. So back then, also a Uranus kind of entered Gemini. So we got like a demo of 2026. And this is where I will be very like fascinated with the reading, because Uranus is the planet of technologies, is the planet of innovation, and Gemini literally two, okay? Gemini literally is twins, okay? And Uranus is AI. And then you have the planet, okay, not planet, Saturn entering the sign of individuality, of an individual. Symbolically, the rising or the first house is Aries, okay? So me. And imagine all of these keywords, right? AI, twin, individual. So now, from last year actually, we as a population entered the phase of cloning ourselves digitally. So basically anyone right now in 5 or 15 minutes can create their own avatar, their own AI twin. Okay, that's Aries energy of like my individuality is being Gemini'd, cloned, twinned by AI, Uranus. And when Saturn goes there, like, so this is what I like to say about Saturn. Saturn, like, oh yeah, it's a challenge, it's limitation, blah, 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 blah. I think of planets differently. The way that I think of planets is energy. So the bigger the planet, the bigger the energy, the influence, okay, because of the gravity. Saturn is quite big, okay, so the influence is way bigger. So wherever it goes, it brings that energy more. So when they say it's a restriction or limitation, it's actually, I say it's a perfection, like perfecting that sign, perfecting the skills, the key terms of that sign. And since you cannot perfect everything, there are some specific things you can perfect. That's why it kind of like, you know, limitations. So this is how it began, right? AI twin cloning. It began with like it didn't come to us like, oh look what AI can do. From what I remember, it's just like, hey, there's ChatGPT, you can type, and then boom, AI clones started like appearing so realistic. Not like, oh, there's like transition from like I can imitate something and then later we can program it to make it look just like you. It was more like, boom, like I can create a copy paste of Soleil, even perfect it in 2 seconds. So imagine the planet of perfecting something, making it fast. Right. Now here's the problem here. There are two things that come with this energy. One, even though Saturn, the reason it's like weak in Aries is because Saturn wants to make sure that everything is in order, everything is perfect. And Aries is like, no, 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 no. We have to go now. We have to do it right now. So what happens with these AI twinning thingy is that, okay, it happened, but there is something that is wrong with it, something we don't know about, and something that we have to fix later on. And here is the part where Saturn in Aries will bring restrictions in identities. Now you can take it many other ways. One way, if the government is not going to bring some kind of law against this kind of things, then you as a a person, as a consumer, you are going to lose your individuality to AI. So someone can replicate you and make money from your face, making AI make money because of your face. Okay. Now, for example, in South Korea, the government has already announced some kind of laws regarding like AI things and people. So like you have to verify it's a person or AI before you can do stuff. So this is what we're gonna continue seeing. Now, Aries is, since it's the baby, it's the baby of the sign. So there could be also reverse aging technologies coming out, combining Uranus, combining Pluto there. So reverse aging things can come up. Things related to war are going to either escalate or get less, but I don't know. Here is my favorite thing. What I have already noticed and felt it to my core is that Saturn is an authority. Saturn is a government. And Aries is an individual. And Pluto is in the sign of Aquarius, which is freedom and rebellion. And Uranus, the planet of freedom, rebellion, going into the sign of Gemini, of like speech. All of them together, to me, literally talk about, and I feel it already, is that for a person, the government is no longer like the concept of government at this point doesn't exist. It feels like people are just relying on themselves. There is no more like, oh, like the government's gonna do this, I can trust the government. No, there's more like, it's me, myself, and I'm gonna rely fully on myself, not trust anybody else. So kind of like authority is getting like losing its power, because Saturn loses its power in Aries. So this is what I clearly see. And then we have natural things like like natural disasters, duh, obviously. We have here Saturn, the planet that is literally ruling the core, the things that are the foundation. So think of the thing that comes before anything else to build a foundation to keep everything intact. So earthquakes, mountains, stones, I forget the word for tectonics. You know, like before the tsunami, what happens? The underground, under the sea, under the ocean, land starts like shaking. The foundation is being like damaged. So you have underground, underwater earthquake, which leads to fire, Aries, volcano, and that leads to shaking in ocean, and then we have tsunami and typhoons and all those kind of things, obviously, with this. And the thing is, we are already experiencing all of these things, but it's gonna get stronger, because also Uranus is in last degrees of Taurus, so it's gonna be like also making our earth shake. And then we have also Uranus moving to Gemini, so all of this together, like airplanes and everything. Okay, I think this is all I can talk about Saturn for now. So, okay, I will be hosting 3 webinar sessions in upcoming week, in next week. One is going to be on building your own yearly reading or just like monthly reading. I'm gonna teach you how to like gonna give you a tutorial, train you how you can do it on your own. Then we're gonna do my favorite, purpose in life, your northern star. And the last one we're gonna do, I think, money, because love at this point is not going to be as important because of Saturn going to Aries, opposite of Libra, which Libra rules love. So love topics are not going to be as important. So we're gonna go forecast, preparing your own 1-year reading. Gonna go purpose in life and money. Or we can choose one with relocation. So I will link the survey where it's kind of like first come served because it's going to be live. So I will be answering the questions of priority questions. Obviously, my students come first, my clients, my followers, and then other people. So if you are not following this channel, then so make sure that you follow, make sure that you fill out the form and leave your questions and choose what webinar you want to join. Okay, that's the news. Number 2 is that my Astro Academy, we're gonna start on 23rd. I've been receiving emails. Sorry, I didn't have time to reply because I'm like busy doing many things. So we're gonna start, like lectures are going to be out from 23rd. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, lectures are going to be out. You are going to receive lectures. We're gonna have live sessions every week to practice and do Q&As. And my Astro Academy is going to be open only 2 times per year, like semester, because I'm preparing astrologers. So it's like you have to enroll for this semester to have the course because it's 5 months. So from February until July for you to become an astrologer. And then if you're late, the next one is from July. And this is academy for like becoming an astrologer, but I am finishing very short 1-week course. Okay, by short, don't think that I'm gonna speak for 5 minutes. No, short meaning like you can complete it within 1 week by 2xing obviously my voice. It's a course that is so fascinating that I never thought about because I just recently got into TikTok and I understood that people need this course. It's a 1-week course where I am going to take a complete beginner. Like, I'm not sure, I think my YouTube followers are not complete beginners, but on TikTok, I saw like thousands of people who don't even know how to open charts and don't know like how chart looks like, but they want to know things about themselves. They want to understand forecasts like this. So for them specifically, I'm already finishing it. I'm preparing a 1-week course, which 1 week meaning there are like 7 lectures with practice sessions where I am going to take you from zero, help you obviously open your chart, but I will help you to be able to read your own chart on your own, okay? And then you will be able to understand and connect the dots of this kind of readings, astrological forecasts on YouTube, social media. And the third one, my favorite goal of this course is to help you to build your own AI astrologer assistant. So I know many people these days are going to ChatGPT to ask questions about astrology, about their charts. I've been doing that to test. It's not accurate, meaning like if you just put your date, it's not going to give you correct answers because it doesn't do the calculations right. However, if you train your AI, if you program it, it is going to give you like answers that you can use so that you don't, I don't know, spend money doing consultations because yeah, the consultations are expensive, and I believe my consultations are literally the cheapest out there. And I also have been receiving a lot of emails about like, do you do consultations? As I said, I don't, but if it's something that you actually really need, and I'm telling you, my consultations are literally the cheapest. Like, trust me, they're 90 minutes. I don't do less. I've been doing 1 hour consultations before. I can't do 1 hour. I need 90 minutes to give fully everything, and even that 90 minutes is way cheap compared whatever is out there. I think I'm done with my promotion, so those who need it heard it. Others, they don't need it, I guess. Okay, now we're gonna go one by one, sign by sign. So 30. Now I remember 30 is when Aries start. Hello, lovely Arieses. This is your forecast for upcoming 3 years with Saturn moving into your own sign. So whether you are Aries rising, whether you are Aries moon, whether you are Aries sun, Aries Venus, Aries Mars, Aries any planet, especially Aries Saturn, this is for you. Like if you have any planets in Aries, this is for you. But obviously make sure that you check all of your signs, because majority of my readings, they fully resonate with the rising, because it's like transit forecast, but you can also combine your sun sign, moon sign all together. For those who are going through their Saturn return, congratulations, because you are getting the easy one, not like what I got, because you're having so much support from other planets. But let's begin. Whew. So Saturn is entering your first house, and I bet the past 2-3 years were not as smooth for you, because Saturn doesn't do well in the 12th house, so as it doesn't do well in Pisces. But now that it's moving to your first house, you are going to become more disciplined and take more care of your physical body. You will be forced to put yourself first. You will be in a healthy relationship with your own self, with your body, with your goals, with your visions, with the way that you are actually seeing this world. So you might have identity crisis in a way, where after this transit, after 2028, you will come out of this transit as a new person, with a new hairstyle, with a new body, with more abs, less fat. Like, you will have complete transformation in the next 3 years. And trust me, I am the most hopeful and positive person out there when I do readings. With Saturn, I can be direct and tell you it's not going to be as sweet. However, it really depends, like if you have really good aspects with other stuff, like really depends on your chart, really depends on your degrees. But majority of the time it's going to be a bit challenging. You will feel a lot of restriction, you will feel a lot of limitation. And the thing is, because it's happening for you in the first house and it's a cardinal angle for you, you might feel some kind of restrictions and limitations, not only from your body, from within, but also from governments, from family, from partners. So there's going to be a lot of, like, you will feel like someone is just like pushing you until you just like burst out and completely do something, more specifically choose you. So here you will be kind of forced to put yourself first no matter what. It's also the time where you will have to become more independent. You will have to learn how to rely fully on yourself, how to not ask for help from others. You know, sometimes doing things on your own is way better, because you will know where to improve things. So yeah, think of it not as a challenge. Think of Saturn moving to your first house as a growth towards a better version of yourself that you always wanted to have. Yeah. So I am also inviting you for a 3-day webinar I'm going to have next week. They're going to be on your purpose in life, on money, and on how to kind of prepare your own 1 year reading ahead. Like, you can do your own reading. I'm gonna teach you that. You can join the webinars. I'm gonna put the form below so that you can also include your questions if you have like questions that you want me to answer. But obviously it's first come, first served, and there are like some priorities, like my students are my priority, my clients, and then my followers. So if you're not a follower, make sure that you follow. Yeah. Moving on to Taurus. Dear Tauruses, hello. So, the past 3 years for you were a lot about separation from the communities, from friends, from people who kind of did not vibe with you much. And you were probably also removing some goals, some kind of plans that you were thinking you're gonna do. Like you were probably like also focusing on one thing. And now Saturn is going to enter your 12th house of subconscious, of immigration, of relocation, of remote working, isolation in a way. So you're gonna be like doing things alone, which is totally fine. Trust me. I have Saturn in Pisces, so the past 3 years I was living this vibe, which is totally fine. But one thing about Saturn going through the 12th house, from experience, from my own personal experience, the keyword here is going to be surrender. Because it's the last cycle. Saturn in a 12th house, it's literally like completing one cycle, like a whole cycle, a whole, like you will also feel like the next 2 years are going to be for you the years where you will be like finishing some kind of cycle, after which you're gonna come out with, like, you will feel like you got reborn all over again, like this is your first time living. That's how it feels once it comes out of the 12th house. So here you will have to learn how to surrender, especially the things that you cannot understand. Like if this is something like you just cannot put the dots, you cannot be like, what is happening here? Like, and basically stop forcing things. This is the time for you to literally sit back, observe, observe, like chill and be like, this is what I was doing. This is how I was living for the past 30 years. Do I want to continue this, or I want to improve this, or I completely want to like say bye-bye to everything and start all over? Okay, so that's like the mindset that you're gonna have in the next 3 years. The manifestations, as I said, you will be probably either thinking about relocation, preparing documents for relocating, or you will be working online or working some kind of remote job somewhere in the sea, or mostly doing some kind of retreat. So yeah. Now, this specific message that I'm gonna give is very personal for people who already have some inclinations to like some kind of mental health issues. If you feel like you are going through something and you are feeling like it's not you, I would highly suggest to visit a therapist or a doctor. And if they say start taking antidepressants, I would take them immediately so that you do not ruin the neurons. So yeah, it's basically a lot of growth happening in the next 3 years. Growth more like, as I said, like surrendering the parts of you that you don't want to take with you to the next stage of your life. That's how I would say it. Yeah. Wait a minute. Next week, we're going to have 3-day webinar. It's going to be live where you can ask me any question. So the form is below for questions to be submitted because there is a priority there. First come, first served, and etc. So we're going to have 3 days webinar. One is on money. One is going to be in your purpose in life and what's blocking you. And the third one is going to be on preparing your own yearly reading, like year ahead reading, so that like you can predict things for yourself. So if you want to join, the form is down below, and obviously priority comes to those who are my followers. So if you're new to this channel and you want to join the live session and ask questions and get free answers, it would be great if you follow. Okay, we're moving on to Geminis. Take a sip. Oh, what's this? Okay. Okay. Hello, dear Gemini. I hope you are watching as a Gemini rising, as Gemini sun, and Gemini moon, because Saturn is entering your 11th house. Yes, the past 3 years were probably a lot for you, okay? And I am here to tell you, if you have any planets in Gemini, any planet, you're going to receive some kind of support from the Saturn this time, because the past 3 years you were kind of like, you felt Saturn in the way that you probably didn't want it. So a lot of changes were happening for you in your love life, in your like family, in at work. Some of you might have lost jobs, some of you might have got like some kind of promotion that came with a lot of responsibilities. So things were not as easy, okay? And I am sorry for that, but I bet you kind of grew a lot in especially you grew a lot with your goals, understanding of exactly what you want in terms of in society, in the world, what do you want to do, which is great. Some of you got married, congratulations. This relationship, this partnership is definitely going to last. So happy marriage for some of you. For those who have lost jobs, there is a reason. Probably the job was not serving you. Saturn never wants bad things for you. Saturn literally wants to like remove the things that are too much for you. So don't blame Saturn on things, okay? Okay. Now Saturn is going to your 11th house, and it's going to give some kind of support to your individual, like to you personally. But it is going to do it through removing communities, people, and projects that like really don't serve you, or the projects and responsibilities that are too much for you to handle, but you are not accepting that. So let's say you are taking on some projects that you think you can do, but in reality, with Saturn going in there, it will make sure that, as we talked about it in the beginning, Saturn wants things to be done not perfectly, but in order. Everything has to be done by law, by regulation. So same thing comes with a person. Like Saturn knows that your body cannot handle this many projects or this many courses or this many people. So you will start removing projects that you don't need, that you cannot handle, that you don't vibe with, in many different ways. Either you will go away, or you will like lose these projects, or you get fired from these projects, or you will completely abandon them. Because if you stay, here is when people say bad things about Saturn. If you stay, it's going to get so heavy. You will have too many responsibilities, and it's going to be hard for you. And that will lead you to becoming less social. You will meet less with people, with your friends. That's why, like, it's also like, when it goes to 11th house, you start losing friends. You start spending less time with people, less time communicating, less time being social. Here also Saturn, apart from projects, if you had some kind of specific goals that you have had during this period, 3 years, Saturn will make sure that in this 3 years you focus on this one specific goal and fully commit to it. So let's say if you wanted to start a YouTube channel or some kind of Instagram, TikTok, and you were taking years to do it, with Saturn going in there, 11th house of social media, YouTube, and etc., it's going to give blessings to the things that will match with you, and you will put so much effort into whatever that thing is, but you will have energy for it, so you will do it perfectly. Okay, you will do it properly, and that's when you're gonna get the rewards. Okay, that's where you're gonna feel the. And obviously my phone just stopped recording because it was Gemini's time, and Geminis are ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is going retrograde. So what I was saying, I basically finished with Saturn in Aries going through your 11th house. But I mean, I will edit here. I am inviting you to join the webinar that we're having next week on money, on purpose in life, and how to remove the limitations and blockages from your life, and preparing your own yearly forecasts. So you can join and ask your questions and take notes. The form is down below. And we're moving on with Cancers. And oh my God, hello dear Cancer. Make sure that you are checking your sun sign, moon sign, rising sign. And if you have any planets in Cancer, you might as well watch this one. Especially if you have like Saturn in Cancer, you definitely need to watch. If you have Jupiter in Cancer, for sure you have to watch this video. Okay, let's get into it. Saturn is moving to your 10th house, and guess what it's gonna do? Depending on your chart, depending on your relationship with Saturn, whether you're friends with Saturn or not, things are going to go sideways, right? Correct. Because yeah, you have to be friends with Saturn. So now if you're friends with Saturn, Saturn going to your 10th house, majority of Cancers in good relationship with Saturn are going to have changes in their status. Like you might get married, you might get pregnant, you might have a baby, you might have a grandkid, and etc. During this next 3 years, these things can definitely happen. So if you were wondering when I will get married, this is the period where a serious relationship will come into your life. Not in February, not in March, because we're retrograding. Okay, so unless you know the person. Okay, so next 3 years are for sure the big changes are happening in your life, from work, family, career, everything, your personality, your individuality, your body, everything is going to be affected in the next 3 years. So expect changes at work, whether getting a promotion or getting fired if you're in bad relationship with Saturn, or getting a new job because you kind of already fed up with this one and you're moving towards the next one. So kind of getting more responsibility and more discipline over your career, over your life in general. This is the period where you will really start taking care of your whole life. And I believe this is also the next 3 years of your life, which will kind of make you come out of it as a new identity, where you have completely different visions, where you have completely different understanding of people, completely different relationship with others and with yourself, with the way that you respect yourself, with the way that you are disciplined. So a lot of discipline here is happening for sure. What else can I say? I think I just mentioned everything because this is such a big event, like for Cancers for sure. So also it could be that maybe some of you will get married, so you will have to relocate, or you will get pregnant, so you will have to like stop working and you go for maternity leave. I think that's the word for it. So you will be home, You will be like thinking like, oh my god, I want to work, but I'm now having a baby, so I can't, I don't, like, you know, you are going to be in that kind of state where you really want to work, but you have to stay at home and do some mama job. Or maybe some of you have really elderly parents where you will have to kind of start taking care of them and internally be like, oh, I really want to work, but now I have to do this. So again, really depends on your relationship with Saturn. So if you will feel like uncomfortable with it, it means you do not have a really good relationship with Saturn. If you don't feel it as much and you feel like you're growing and you're feeling it positively, then you're a good one. You're a good one. And you too, I'm also inviting you to join my free webinar sessions that are live, that they're going to happen next week. We're going to talk about money. We're going to talk about what's blocking your life, which helps you to determine the kind of like the purpose or the direction of your life. And we're going to also have a tutorial session on how you can forecast your own year ahead. The form is below. You can submit your questions, first come served, and obviously followers get the first come priority here. We're moving on to Leo. So hello Leo, make sure that you're checking your rising sign here. And if you have any planets in Leo, actually you're going to receive support from Saturn, definitely, but yeah, it's support for sure. You're going to receive support from Saturn in upcoming 3 years when it comes to everything to do with like education, things to do with traveling, things to do with like expanding your knowledge, expanding your experiences, publishing, advertising. It's like a lot of exposure for your business. This is the time where things will start getting bigger. You will have like your reputation will increase because you are kind of being out there a lot. But obviously you will have to make sure that you are very serious about what you're doing. If you want to study, you will have to play by the rules. If you want to run ads or if you want to do some kind of marketing campaign, you will need to make sure that everything, you're not lying and everything is on point. That's how you're gonna receive the blessing, the support. Okay, not blessing, the support. And if you're doing something illegal here, it's not gonna work. So now when it gets to the point where you're like, why everything is good, because it's not. So if you're not in good relationship with Saturn, and if you do not follow the rules, the law, and etc., here's what could happen. What could happen, you might get into some kind of limitations and restrictions when it comes to traveling. So perhaps, maybe you didn't check your documents in advance, you didn't do some kind of health checkups in advance, so you're not getting that visa, you're not being able to travel. Same thing with education and university. Maybe you got in, you got the support, but you didn't put the work, you didn't study, you were not responsible, you were like, meh. So you might fail, or you might, because, so you will either fail if you're in bad relationship. Okay, it's only for those. That's why I'm saying you have to follow the rules and be a little bit more responsible here. For others of you, maybe you began doing some kind of degree or studying or traveling to some kind of country, and then you realize that this is not for you. You realize that this is not something that you want to do, so you will remove it from your life. So that's what Saturn does. If it doesn't serve you, if you don't vibe with it, it's gonna be like, okay, let's remove it, and Saturn is going to help you. If you're like a person like me who doesn't like to get into like confrontations and be like like a people pleaser in a way, Saturn will be like, okay, let me do the job for you. You might not like it, other people might not like it, but we'll have to do it for your own sake. So yeah, also next week we're having a free live webinar. There will be a replay, but the replay is paid, so I should have mentioned that to others. Anyways, next we're having a webinar on finances, on life kind of purpose and what's blocking you in life to get the best potential out of your life, and how to make your own forecast in advance. Or maybe we can have another discussion. The form is down below. You can fill it out, and you can leave your questions if you want to join the Q&A session and for me to answer your questions. But it's first come, first served, and it's priority based. So you will have to follow me to have the priority. And we're moving on to Virgos. Oh my God, dear Virgos, congratulations. You made it. You survived the past 3 years. They were horrible. I'll say it, they were horrible. If they were good for you, oh my God, you're so lucky. Congratulations. I think you totally made it. Like, wow, I'm jealous, but okay. Let's see. You will have to make sure that you're checking your rising sign, your sun sign, your moon sign here. And if you had your Saturn return last year, you probably had your Saturn in the 7th house. Let me know what happened with you, because it was bad. It was bad for me. And okay, let's go. So the past 3 years, you and me, we had a lot of cutting out of people out of our lives, and maybe some projects as well. So mostly people in our relationship with other people. So we either cut them out or they cut us out, like whatever. Now Saturn is moving to 8th house. The 8th house of financial resources and financial support from others, or mutual finances, or loans, or tradings, and also like sexual relationships. So with Saturn going in there, you're becoming more responsible with these specific topics. If some of you decide to get a loan during this period, you will need to know that it will take 3 years for you to work with it, right? Like maybe pay out the loan or do something with this loan, and you will have to make sure that this loan is very much needed and very much specific for your specific needs, depending, let's say if you're rising, and what I'm saying is for the rising, let's say you will have to connect with your sun on or your moon to see where it's coming. So for example, my sun is in Capricorn, so this Saturn goes to my 4th house. So I want to have a house, but I don't have money, so I'm going to my 8th, Saturn going to the 8th house for my chart, for my rising sign, let's say, and I want to get a loan to fulfill the needs of my sun, which is getting a house. So here I have to be very cautious and very responsible. So it shouldn't be something I might do it spontaneously, because Aries energy is spontaneous, but I have to be very serious about it. Like, think ahead, like, will I be able to pay off this in upcoming 3 years? Also, the topics of money are going to become more serious for you, meaning like you will start getting more educated on money. So financial literacy is going to be your friend during these 3 years. So maybe some of you will start getting into trading. You will start learning different ways of making money. So I think you will get very much fascinated with money. Like, we will be basically surrounded by the topics of money in the next 3 years. Also because the 8th house is responsible for intimate relationships. So some of you might get very serious with your partner that you have had. You're kind of getting to the next level. You're like exploring things, but making it more serious. Yeah, exploring things, but more on a more disciplined. There will be some kind of routine probably in this field. But I bet some of you are also learning how to trade, make money from trading, because Saturn rules your 5th house of leisure, of gambling, and etc. So I believe some of you will also get into that as well. So you can join me too, by the way. Also, eighth house is the house of a lot of transformations because traditionally it's Scorpio plutonic placement. So you will also, apart from the past 3 years where you were going through relationship transformations, you will also go through some kind of shedding off of like internal things that were taking you down, or the things that you were hiding. And I'm also inviting you for the next week of webinar that we're going to have, live webinar where you can also ask questions and get free answers. And the topics we will discuss are going to be money, purpose in life, or how to remove blockages in your life so that you can get the potential, the best outcome of your chart. And the third one is we will try to have a tutorial on how to create your own forecast ahead. The form is below. You can submit your questions, priority based. So you need to make sure that you're following to be on that list of people who are asking questions. And we're moving on to Libras. Hello, dear Libra. You better buckle up because the next 3 years are going to be the years that you're not going to forget for sure. Make sure that you're checking your sun sign, your moon sign, your rising sign, your Saturn sign. So basically, if you have anything in Libra, these 3 next years are going to be out there for you, just like you will feel it. And more specifically, the next 3 years, you are going to get way more serious, way more responsible with your partnerships, with your love partnerships, with your business partnerships. I see a lot of Libras getting married or getting divorced and then getting married. So during this period, a lot of Libras are going to kind of finalize who exactly they want to commit with, like who exactly they want to marry, who exactly they need in their lives. So this will determine them, like this person stays, this person goes, I get married with this one, I divorce this person. Or if you don't do it yourself, if you kind of like fight this, Saturn will be like, no, 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 no. Separate, move away, remove it. Or Saturn will bring you the situations where you are in a separation and we will be testing both of the partners to see if you two are committed. So during this period, you will notice that there are a lot of like long distance relationships happening for you, for like, yeah, people who have their Saturns going through the 7th house. They experience separation with their partner, more specifically, like let's say distance, or you have to work somewhere abroad or somewhere else and your partner is in a different country. So during this 3 years, you will be like challenged to see if this relationship is actually legit, it's gonna last. If it's not, you're gonna break up. That's why you might feel like hurt but it's just know that it's for good, okay? Same thing with business partnerships, literally same thing with business partnerships. Same thing with service-based business. Like if you have clients during this time, only the loyal customers and clients will stay. So you will also notice a reduction in new clients coming into your life. Like in the past 3 years, because I was literally, so I didn't do consultations because I was like, no. Okay, next week we are having a free webinar. It's live on topics such as money, topics such as how to get the best out of your chart, which is your potential, the purpose. And we're also going to see how we can forecast, do your own forecast for upcoming year or for upcoming month. You will choose the period yourself. You can also submit the questions that I can answer during the Q&A, but it's first come served and it's priority based. The priorities depend on if you follow me or not. So, okay. And we're moving on to Scorpio. Hello, dear Scorpio. Make sure that you're checking your rising sign, your sun sign, and your moon sign. This one will resonate for sure with rising signs, okay? So in the next 3 years, this is my favorite actually. I don't know why. I mean, I know why, but I don't know why I'm mentioning it. But Saturn likes to be the sixth house. It's because symbolically sixth house is the house of earth, like it's very earthy, it's Virgo house. So for you in the next 3 years, you are going to be super, 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 super busy with your work, with whatever project that you have initiated in the past 3 years. If you have initiated some kind of new project, some kind of new businesses, some kind of new thing at work, this upcoming 3 years, you're going to be fully invested and working you will have the best routine, you will have the best schedule, you will be so disciplined, not only with your work, but with your day-to-day life activities. You will have the best meal prep recipe menu. You will start, maybe some of you will get a pet, so based on that you will have a pet and you will be responsible for the pet, and pets have their own internal alarms. They wake up at specific time and you will have to make sure that you also wake up, so you will have a specific routine based on your pet. So this will get you in the path of being healthy, okay? Now, what else can I say here? So health comes first here. You will be super healthy. You will be taking care of your health. You'll go to the gym. You will make sure that your teeth are fine. Or let's say if this, everything that I just said is for those people who are in really good relationship with Saturn, okay? Now, if you're not in good relationship with Saturn, depending on your other planets, depending on your degrees and your house and etc., you might need to really take care of your health. Maybe you didn't do health checkups for years and now you will find out that you really have to do something with it. So you will be visiting doctors in the next 2 years. You will be like in doctor's office a lot often, and you'll be like getting closer to fixing your health, fixing your routine. And I'm also inviting you next week to my live webinars. 3 days, we will have 3 different webinars. One is on money, one is on your potential from your chart, how you can get the best out of it and open all the blockages out of your life. And we will also do forecasts. I'm gonna prepare like a tutorial on how you can make your own forecast for upcoming year or for upcoming month and etc. It's priority based, so make sure that you fill out the form and you follow. That's the priority requirement. You can submit your questions that I can answer during the live session. And we're moving on to Sagittarius. Hello, dear Sagittarius. The past 3 years must have been quite something, right? Right. Let me know in comments how the past 3 years played out for you. I bet there were something that you have probably you're gonna remember the past 3 years. And because I'm surrounded by Sagittarian people, I know how it played out for Sagittarians who are friends with Saturn and Sagittarians who are not friends with Saturn. So those Sagittarians who were friends with Saturn the past 3 years, even though felt challenging, the good results came. Like, for example, you figured out where you want to live, where do you belong, where is your house, is it with your parents, or you're becoming independent and figuring out your own country, your own home. For others who are not friends with Saturn, are probably you were stuck with your parents, or you couldn't get to the point where you could become independent. So there was like a lot of struggle in that field, like the keyword home, house, family, parents, okay? So, or some of you, because you were abroad or away, you had a distance and separation from your parents. But now Saturn is going to your 5th house. So being the lucky Sagittarius you are, this transit is going to be supportive. It's definitely not going to challenge you much. It's going to be supportive. It's going to support your hobbies. It's going to support your business ideas. It's going to support your lottery winnings. It's going to support the baby and pregnancy or romance. But there is a trick here. It should be it should be dedicated, it should be very much, basically you will have to put in the work to get that one thing. So you will have to turn that hobbies into one hobby that you will dedicate yourself into. If it's like many businesses, you will have to choose one and dedicate. If you have many partners or many interests, or if you have a list of like, these are the things that I like about a person and I want to meet, you will have to shrink it. You will have to make sure that it's this specifically exactly what I want in a person. I'm gonna meet them. And if you wanted to become a parent, this is the period where you will really take care of all the procedures that are needed to be done to get pregnant. Okay. So for others of you who already have kids, the next 3 years you are going to be super, super busy with your kids, like taking them to school or preparing them for prep school, like kindergarten. Like, you're going to be very busy. Maybe you already gave birth in the past 3 years, so now you have to stay home and take care of babies. So maybe if you're not friends with Saturn, you'll be like, oh, I really want to work, but now I have to sit with a baby at home, and now I don't have a hobby because I'm spending so much time with a baby. I don't have to, I don't get to do what I want to do. My hobbies, my spending time with me. Like, you know, it really plays out differently for different type of people. And I am inviting you also for next week's live webinar on 3 different topics, 3 days. We're going to talk about finances. We're going to talk about how to prepare your own forecast, and we're going to also talk about what's blocking you in life and how you can get the best out of this life, out of your chart. You can also ask me questions for like in the life. I'm gonna answer the questions, but it really depends on the priority. If you follow me, you are going to be priority based. If not, I will probably skip your question. So you need to make sure that you are following my channel or any of my social media. We're moving on to Capricorns. Yay! Hello, Capricorns. I am a fella Capricorn stellium here. So next 3 years, I am prepared for. I'm way prepared for next 3 years than I was in the past 3 years, because I was going through Saturn return, and trust me, I don't care what anyone says that Saturn is in fall in Aries. I don't care. You know why? Because I am South Node in Aries, so I vibe with Aries energy, and I am Saturn ruled person. So Saturn in Aries to me sounds something like, hi, I'm making a video and I have energy for it. So I don't care. For us, you will see how much you will accomplish in the next 3 years than you have done in the past 3 years. This is all I can say. Whether it's going to be challenging, whether it's going to be smooth, really depends on what is your relationship with Saturn. Since we are Saturn babies, I'm gonna be delusional here, I'm gonna be hopeful here, and I'm gonna say we're gonna rock and roll, even though it's going to be hard. Okay. Okay. Personal experience. Okay, right? So right now it's 29 degrees in Pisces and it's squaring my Jupiter, but soon it's gonna enter Saturn on 14th, right? And it's gonna start squaring my sun. I should already feel the square. The only thing I'm feeling is that I am more clear. I've never been so clear about my sun, my mind, myself. I've never been so clear ever. Now I know exactly what I want to do. So with this Saturn squaring all of our planets, all of our positions here, it's gonna give us clarity on whatever planet it's squaring. So clarity on your goals, like depending on your planet, okay, whatever planet it's squaring. But now we're talking about rising signs. So for rising Capricorns, the topics that are going to be activated during this period are going to be home, house, parents, and the place that I call home. So I can see a lot of Capricorns relocating or doing something with their house, selling properties, buying properties, getting a new place to call home, like immigration, citizenship. These topics are going to be on parenthood, parents, become like motherhood. These topics are all getting out there, like very loud, very clear. So maybe some of you, if you wanted to become pregnant, this is the period where you will start getting serious about like taking care of the body, to prepare the body for the embryo, like for the baby to come in. Okay, so if you wanted to buy a house, this is the period where you will start getting really serious about it, saving money, making money, or paying a little every month to get the house, or you will be relocating, changing the house. You got the point, right? That's for like risings, okay, the topics. But for us, like with Capricorn planets, depending on what planet it's going to touch and square, those topics are going to be on. Okay, and depending on the degrees of those planets, you're gonna determine if it's going to be in 2026 or in 2027 or in 2028. That's why from millions of Capricorns, not everyone is going to feel the Saturn movement right away. I'm feeling it because I'm like early degrees, starting from early until the last. I have Capricorn placement. My mom has 29-degree Capricorn placement, so she's not even there. But because she's Aries rising, oh wait a minute, yeah, she's Aries rising, but anyways, she's a Capricorn, so she's also going to have experiences with the housing for the next 3 years. And I am also Capricorn, not rising, but I'm also feeling the vibes of the fourth house, meaning like I want to buy a house, but I don't have money, so I'm not gonna like figure out how I'm gonna make money to buy a house. So you know, these topics are on. So yeah, the next 3 years are going to be very big because everything is going to get activated. I am also inviting you for the next week webinar live sessions where we're gonna talk about money. We're gonna talk about the potential of your chart and how to get the best out of life. And we're gonna also see how we can do our own astrological forecasts so that you don't, if you don't have money to spend on astrologer sessions, you can literally watch that to kind of do it yourself. And we're moving on to Aquarius. Hello, Aquarius. I hope you're doing well. Make sure that you're checking your rising signs. Specifically, you can check your sun sign and moon sign for extra accuracy. So, what do we have here? In the past 3 years, a lot of Aquariuses were getting super serious with money. So, learning about money, figuring out where you stand with money and your safety and your comfort. Now, all of these topics and all of this discipline are going to your third house of, let's say, siblings, of your environment, of short courses that you're taking, some kind of documents, some kind of relocation themes here. And let me see something here. Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, so 12th house, right? So Saturn rules your 12th house, and because it's going to your third house, so for you, I also see a lot of documents related to immigration and relocation, maybe also languages. Maybe some of you will start learning new languages, or traveling abroad to study, to relocate, and have some kind of changes. But again, depending on your relationship with Saturn, if you're friends or not, the experience is going to be smooth or not. So you need to make sure you figure out where do you stand with the Saturn. Also, during this period, you will notice how your surroundings, like the people around you, you are becoming busy, so you do not have time to spend time with your neighbors or with your siblings or with your like family, with your relatives. So you're kind of like not isolating yourself, but you are being busy somewhere else, so you do not have time to like communicate or interact with people as much. Also, during this period, you will notice that you are separating from some friends. You are like, let's say maybe if you're relocating or moving to another country, now your neighborhood, now the people around you are completely different. Your siblings are not there, your relatives are not there. So there's like this kind of like, you know, this kind of isolation, but you're not isolated. So you're like separated from old ways of knowing people. Some of you might get into like cars, so you will learn how to drive, and your goal in the next 3 years will be to pass the tests and get a car and start driving. That's one of the ways that I can also interpret. I am also inviting you to next week's live webinar sessions, where we will talk about money, where we will talk about how to get the best out of your chart and your life, your purpose, and we will also learn how to make forecasts for yourselves. And it's the form is down below, so fill it out, and if you have questions that you want me to answer during the live, you can also do that, but it's first come, first served, priority based. Make sure that you're following to be in the list. And we're moving on to Pisces. Oh my God, Pisces. Please tell me you're doing fine. If you're watching this, it means you made it through past 3 years. Woo, we made it. Yay! We're gonna celebrate now. Now, Pisces, all I can say, good job. Congratulations. The past 3 years were not easy, but you made it, and I'm so proud of you. So proud of you. The next 3 years, I'm telling you, Pisces, you are going to be on a mission to become freaking rich, financially free from... You will want to become financially independent. You will not rely on anyone anymore. You're like so done with people. You're so done with what's happening in the world, to the point that you're like, the only thing that matters right now is my stability, is my comfort, and it's all tied to money. So you will be spending your time, you will dedicate yourself into understanding how money works, and how to make money, and how to save money, and how to spend it less so that you have it more. You know, I am the wrong person to give lectures on money, because I literally have not a lot of money on my bank account, like, you know. Yeah, so you're gonna spend your time doing all of that in the next 3 years, which I think is amazing, because for you it's the second house, for me it's the 8th house. So the topic of money is, I'm already feeling it. Tell me if you're feeling it, because Neptune is already there. I'm feeling it, you must be feeling it too. So more specifically, getting into safety is going to be your number one priority. Your goal is going to be, I need to make sure that I know what's gonna happen in my life in the next 10 years, and I'm prepared for anything, any natural disaster, any war, anything. I have a bunker, I have money, not money, food piled up. Like, I know that I can survive next 10 years if something happens. So that's going to be your main goal. Let me know if it's wrong, because I think it is correct. Okay. Now, I am also inviting you to join next week's live webinar sessions. We're gonna have 3 days, 3 different topics. We're gonna talk about money. We're gonna talk about how to get the best out of your chart, your potential, and what's blocking you. And we're going to see how we can forecast our future. It's live, it's free. You can submit your questions that I might answer, but it's priority based, so make sure that you're following. And I think that's it, and I'm happy for you. So see you next week.